Go. What did I say, Stuart?
I
Internet
just
outage
finished.
is in the whole country apparently.
Oh, internet. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
I didn't
just
realize
finished
it
up
was
my.
a
I just
big.
finished up my wrap up of matters perspective. I was just about to read two super chats,
Oh,
and now they're gone, so I don't even know what they said. One was from Ensign Ricky saying, "Get cronked, drink up," because he thought it was a drunk, and I don't know what the other one was.
we did finish the wrap up though, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just coming in, and then you were like, "Oh, you've got. Oh, everyone's gone. Okay, cool."
I thought my internet died for a minute there. I was like, "God damn it!" And then I'm like,
Yeah,
"Wait a minute, nope." I saw what? What's going on?
weird. Well, sorry about that, but apparently it's been the company itself. I mean, it's amazing how good the internet's been, considering everyone's on it now all the time. But anyway, matter of perspective. Hopefully, you guys know what Stuart said, and hopefully, we'll get some peel back. Otherwise, the voting is a bit more redundant. But maybe we've gone longer so that it'll register that we've come back more. Maybe.
Well, yeah, Lady Warrender says Virgin Media in the UK is shitting the bed today. It's gone down every hour.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's been pretty. Yeah, well, that would have made sense. I said to you about an hour or so.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, let's wrap it up before next hour.
Yeah. Matter of perspective, and this might be the one that no one gets points on because who's here to listen to my version? I like this one. This one's a fun one. It's a great. I mean, matter of perspective is right. It's it's actually the murder of passion by the wife, but it's all been tricked to make Riker look, and we keep seeing holographic recreations of what happened, each from their own perspective, and it's like which one is the truth? We see Riker go after the wife. We see the wife go after Riker. We see neither. We see the pure professional one. We see a violent fist fight with the guy. We see Riker killing everyone. We see Riker accidentally killing everyone. We see a thing going exploding as a space station explodes. It's not Riker. And it's a really, really interesting one. And by the end, you are wondering if Riker actually was like where the truth is, because you see every perspective. And all I remember is that it wasn't like is the good ending, and that he didn't do it. He might have like fancied the lady a little bit, but didn't do anything. But I remember the scientist guy's a bit of a dick, and it's like they're on a space station. It's like a power source of ultra mega power. I just remember the really cool visual of them in the holodeck room. Because it's a holodeck, but it looks like a room, because like half's like them watching it, half's a holodeck, and I just got a visual of Riker firing up at this like crystalline structure and a thing. And it's like mid explosion. It's a nice like interaction. I think they do also walk around themselves as well, like once or twice with Riker. And I think we get a point when Picard goes to Riker and is like, "Are you sure you remember what happened right?" Because there's a lot of evidence here. There are logs, there are records, there's things, and like Brian's brought on, and he says, "Did you see something in the transporter records?" "Yes, there was a power surge. Could have been a phaser." "Yes." Or it could have been the explosion getting to the transporter signal. So it's really interesting, and just a memorable, like, it's basically Measure of a Man in a sense, just of this format. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, no one's gonna say who won that. So did you say more
Well,
or
yeah, I
less?
did a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah, but if anybody was here that saw mine, let us know who won that. One thing I forgot to mention about that one, actually, and you did too, was that when they recreated his experiment on the holodeck, it was actually creating the same beams and
It's
stuff.
actually working. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was amazing. Yeah.
Ozzy says Captain Foley wins.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I remember
because
the whole premise, but not like the bonus stuff. That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember because it was an overload, and it actually starts overloading the ship's computer. Like whatever they actually had to completely replicate it, and that like it was
yeah.
going to explode again, which is just such a fun, silly concept.
Becky says I was going to say Foley for this one, but did you change your mind, Becky? Glad to see you guys back, by the way. Hopefully, you guys are hit the like button again.
See, this time you can like
This time,
twice.
yeah. I was just gonna say this time you can like us twice.
Amazing.
So let's get one or two more votes though, just to miss both. If you get, oh well, I only just saw Sam's just came in.
I mean, why don't we could just call this one draw if you want, like a null.
Okay, yep, yep, fine.
But the next one will be
Well, that's one we don't even have to do. We've seen it 1,000 fucking times, and everybody knows the plot. So
you know what, Stuart? let's summarize it in one. Like no points. Just how would you summarize? How would I summarize it? If like the simple one word, like one sentence, right?
Sentence.
But like there aren't points here. Just like how would we? You can go first, and then like just for like interest's sake, how would you summarize it? Like what do you remember?
First or the last one?
Hmm?
It's your turn to go first.
Oh, okay. Sorry. One of the best episodes in Trek history. Alternate timelines. Enterprise C comes in. You get a beautiful alternate dark future-ish. Tasha comes back. Best Tasha ever. Guinan's brilliant. They save the universe. Great new ship. It's amazing.
And Castile. And it's a good episode.
And first com badge.
Yep. And alternate Enterprise.
Well, how do you summarize? But like start again. Like what would you have said would be your version of that?
Oh, well, the point was wrong. Anyway. Yeah, time travel episode, Enterprise C, actual reality, goes into a future alternate reality. Enterprise modified, cool bridge, new uniforms, Tash is back, and yeah, we get some fantastic history of the Enterprise C. You get to meet Rachel Garrett, you know what happened with the Romulans, and the fact that this was the reason for the peace between the Klingons and the Federation. So, yeah.
Yeah, some
awesome episode, and they sacrifice themselves. And one of the best quotes in Star Trek history. Yeah. Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise.
Yeah. And you get Riker's horrifying makeup. You get the space rocks of the consoles, the famous space rocks. You get
the shrapnel and Captain Garrett's head.
Oh yeah, just instantly just dies. Oh, she's dead. Okay, cool. Fair enough. No, just like one of the absolute best. Everything about it is great. There's a single weak point, and prune juice, which is obviously an iconic thing. I mean, just one of the absolute best. Offspring, you can jump in then, since I sort of.
Yeah. All right. So Offspring, this is where Data creates a child essentially. He kind of advances his own positronic network a little bit, makes it a protoform. So it gets to choose its own gender and appearance. It goes to the holodeck, and it looks at Andorians and a couple other things. Chooses a human female, and Picard gets thoroughly pissed, and says, you can't just go around creating things like this, Data. Well, I didn't know that you had to give permission to have a kid. Essentially, it's not the same thing, Data. Actually, it is. Anyway, it turns out that Lau, who's the kid's name, she actually, her positronic net starts to fail because of some problem that Data created with it by mistake, and she actually dies. And it's just a nice, touching story about Data's brief fatherhood, if you will, until we get Soji and Daj. So anyway, that's it for this one. Fairly good episode. Don't know why it wasn't mentioned in Picard, but there you go.
Oh, it's not that. That's why. Too pretty.
Hold on, I think we can get screenshots of these super chats that I missed last time. Jeff, I don't know what you're talking about. I already read the super chat in this one. Beginning of this one, but I didn't know the last one. So if you guys have a screenshot of it, I will read it. But
yes. So this is a good one, sort of. I remember I have good vibes. I remember thinking it was the best thing ever. Data, makes a surprise daughter, brings in Troy and believe Geordie at the beginning, or that's the Beard episode, but it might be bringing them in as well. And then they bring in the lab, and the thing opens. It's like, oh my god, I've been a daughter, and they're like, what? And Picard chastises him because he didn't ask permission, and Data's like, would you ask permission? Do you have to? No. Well, neither should I. He's like, well, it's not the same. Why is it not the same? So that's interesting. And named Lol, and it's like a proto android nurse based on his engrams, gets to choose his own body, its own body goes on the holodeck. With Troy, gets a great scene with a continuous one take where they keep swapping people. It's a good trick. Gets the Andorian, a white Andorian, which is kind of strange, multiple aliens, and eventually selects on the humanoid to be nice to reflect the the father, I guess, but more real skin tone, which is kind of weird. Why didn't they do that? And he wanders about. Oh, first one directed by Frakes. Actually, well directed, I remember, considering. A lot of personal touch, but another Data episode. And then Lol's well acted, interesting, childlike, but a sense of personality by the end. Goes 10 forward, sees people do things, replicates them, kisses Riker. He gives himself a kiss in his own episode. Why the hell not? But he's not in the episode much. He sort of pops in to get kissed. And then something happens in the plot to need her to be shut down. I don't remember what or why. I just remember the cool bits and then not the lead up, or not the end. But at some point it's decided that she must shut down or dies. Maybe positronics are faulty. That might be logical. And so Data also has experienced the death of Lol, which is sad. And I think at the end he has her chip, her positronics, and he's like, this is all I have of her, but I'll always remember her. Oh, and then he integrates her he's able to access her memories, and he puts them in his own brain as to keep her alive in some small way. And so it's a bittersweet ending, but he still gets to experience that. And it's a nice episode. I just don't remember a good 10% of it, 20% of the story at the end. It's not sure what happens to cause the thing, but might have just been she's breaking. Don't quite remember.
Yeah, no, you had some really good facts in there that I didn't include. So who had the better story there, guys? Who summed it up better? Let us know. And you didn't mention Dodge or Soji once.
Did you?
Yep.
It was not in this episode, though, so we're gonna. I don't think it points away from that. But I did say it was an important one. Yeah.
Commander wins. Cap wins. Positron brain class.
Okay, so I was right there. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Captain Foley says Ozzy. So it's Cap wins. I really thought you had it because you had more details. Sam for the win says super cute. Yeah.
I think we're tying.
We both had
just different details.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll call.
I completely forgot about the kiss scene because that's hilarious.
Oh,
that's your daughter.
Yeah. 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 Let's call that a tie then. That's pretty good then, I think. Oh, come on.
Justin says tie. Becky says for the details. Sam.
I'm happy to take tie.
Okay.
But
you have a different way of summing up stories, I think, too. Broader strokes for sure.
Yeah, whereas I remember moments, but I tend to forget the B plot because it doesn't mean much most of the time. If it doesn't mean anything, why would you necessarily remember it? Right. Sins of the Father. Me first, right?
Yes.
This is great. This is Kern. This is the other side of the Riker crew swap program with the Klingons, and this very big, strong the actor who plays in so much of the show, Tony Todd. There you go, brilliant actor, really really cool actor. I think it's Tony Todd. It's young Tony Todd. Anyway, comes aboard and he really is mean to Worf, and you don't know why. And he goes on the bridge and really sets a set of command. He really takes control of the ship. And Picard lets him because he's in second in command for a bit. But they don't really go into that much of the program because it's really that Kern is on the ship to talk to Worf to reveal he is also a son of Mogg. That he was an older. Older must have been younger because he looks up to Worf, so it must be a younger one. But he was off Khitomer with a nanny. Yeah, that's why he was off. He was either on Khitomer with a nanny or off. I think probably off Khitomer, whatever. And he's been hiding as the he was found and then fostered by someone else, and he's part of that house. It's quite a big house, but he's in that house. And then he wants to reveal he's a son of Mogg because also, more importantly, the Duras family are saying that that Worf is the Mogg, son of Mogg, was a traitor. And I believe it's the one where they go to Kronos, which is brilliant. They get to meet the High Council, and this is not the Dishonor one. Or it might be. I don't quite remember if it is the Dishonor one or not. But you get some great stuff on Kronos. You get some really good brother, because having only had a brother for a day, he gets to be the older brother, which is great. If it is a Dishonored one, then that really iconic scene of putting there, you must do it too, brother, and he puts his arms, does the symbol, does the Wakanda Forever thing, and then turns around and Worf leaves, and it's really sad. But it probably isn't that one though, because there's not enough time in this episode to make Picard the something of Ascension, that guy. But it's I remember liking this one a lot actually, and it goes from being one thing to another thing very quickly, and it's a lot of fun. This one, yep.
oh my God, it's Kern. Yeah, well, Kern shows up as part of the Klingon Federation exchange program, much like Riker went to a Klingon ship early in season 2. Yeah, season 2. Yeah, season 2. So they get an exchange officer as well. Turns out to be Kern, which is Worf's younger brother, and eventually it's found out that through Data doing some investigations and stuff that actually there's evidence that their father wasn't responsible for what happened at Kittimer. I can't remember how the episode ends, if they actually get too much into the details, or if that's another episode. But that's basically it. We find out that Worf has a brother, and it's Kern, played by Tony Todd, which is awesome.
Incredibly memorable and absorbing in the role.
Yeah. So that's about it. That's all I remember from that one. So don't remember how it ends. Don't remember the second half. Remember the first half where he comes aboard and we don't really know who he is, and he kind of rubs the crew the wrong way. But but then forget how it ends.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I was trying to remember if this is the one where he has to accept the dishonor of his father, and he gets, everyone is in a circle around him and puts his arms together and turns because Duras is saying he's been a traitor. Because I think they don't think Mogg is a traitor yet. I think this is the one where they tell him there's evidence that says Mogg is a traitor. That's why he's been brought in, but always at the next one. It's either this one or the next one, because I think the bit with Kern at the start is very short, like weirdly short, and then it jumps to Kronos. Or that's like the second one. So we'll see what people. I mean, I could just check. But
it says Sam. Demas says Commander gets this one. Yeah, I have to admit, like I remember Tony Todd, obviously, but I don't remember a lot of the details of this one. So
let me check if it is the one that I think it is, because if it is that one, then it's like, yeah, that. I mean, I just in case I was right, I gave that entire second half because I do know it. If it was this one. Because there's so much in this episode. Because he also goes to the they go find that. No, that's the second one. The Klingon lady in the down bit, and Joe tries to assassinate him. That's the one. The second one.
It's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it takes discommendation in this one. This is that. Yeah, this is that one.
Ozzy says,
Commander. No, he does go for the lady. I was right. He does go and find her. Try to find evidence.
In this episode?
Yeah, and she ends up not testifying. Oh, she does testify. I was right. Okay, I was right. It was this one.
And that was their nanny.
Yeah. The one that saved Kern. Okay. So
I thought that was an episode.
It's 16 minutes of Federation and 25 of Klingon. That'd be why. This is a packed effing episode. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I got this one, I think.
Yeah, the thumbnail threw me.
No, I actually really like this one. This is one where you like, because it's such a good Klingon episode. It's so distinctive. Allegiance.
All right.
You're first.
My first. Yeah. So this is where Picard gets kidnapped and gets replaced with another Picard replicant aboard the Enterprise, who starts asking a lot of weird questions, and but anyway, Picard finds himself woken up with like 3 other people. One's a Federation ensign. We got one guy who can't eat anything but meat, so I mean, whoever's keeping them captive supplies them with little pucks. And the other guy is a passive person. So Picard's the leader there. There's no way out of this room. They start bickering back and forth. The one guy can only survive so long without eating, and since he can't eat the little pucks that supply for food, he's kind of a threat. There's something going on aboard the Enterprise with the Picard, but I can't remember what that is. I just know that in the end, it turns out it's the Starfleet ensign, the blue girl, that is responsible for this, or knows about it anyway. And I'm pretty sure this is the episode where at the end they... Is it though? Is the one with the episode where at the end they get the 2 people, the 2 aliens on the bridge, and just using. Are you listening to me? No, he's not listening. Just using the hand signs and nods and stuff and text messages. They lock them into force field and say, see, we can communicate. Da, da, da. I think that's this one. I don't know. If I'm wrong, then I'm an idiot. But anyway, it's a good episode. And then they mentioned something about Picard's like, oh, what was my doppelganger doing while we were here? Oh, yeah, Picard's doppelganger has a really nice tea and breakfast with Beverly, and they kind of, it's a very nice Picard for sure, the doppelganger. And then at the end, they mentioned that something about dancing, which surprises Picard. So there you go.
Alright, I have a soft spot for this episode. Don't know why. I just like the premise. So Picard wakes up in this weird thing. Turns out it's an experiment by aliens that live in pairs of 2. And they've kidnapped all these different people from different parts of the universe, galaxy. And Picard is he's the most knowledgeable, so he knows all different races. He's not a Nausicaan, but he's close. You get the purple guy's the pacifist. And they make a really clever joke about how, we've never been conquered ever. Or, like, we've never... we've never had a war. He's like, the big guy's like, no, but you've been conquered more than anyone in the galaxy. It's like, yes, but we've never been in a war. And everyone's like, ugh, really? Mr. Pacifist. And the other guy's a warrior. He's purely carnivore. And the test is that they're in this very blank room. Cool set, though. Well art designed. And they're only fed these little, they look like urinals, but purple. And they're like, they crunch like a cracker almost. And their sustenance, though tasting gross, and the Picard tries and it's like, But it turns out the carnivore guy literally can only eat meat, and he starts off being relatively like advanced, nice, even if a bit aggressive, and is like, if I don't eat within a day and a half, because Picard says, how long go without food? And he's like, a day and a half, I will have to eat one of you. I just will. And the pastor's like, oh. And this whole time you're given a false sense of security of the Bolian, and she's a really well acted Bolian. She's an ensign, and she throws these facts out of Picard really early on, and Picard instantly, signals to her, we'll be friends at this because you're an officer, and that's that fun double bluff that she's actually two of the aliens the entire time, and she's there to monitor this test, and it's just a psychology test of seeing what, how, and who. At one point after Picard does the whole who is who, what is what, how is how, they go to the door pad and they try and get through, and they each have different skills. They get electroshock, doesn't work. It's just a really fun, science experiment. But there's actually Picard on the ship, and I believe this is the one where he does the drinking tale to his crew. And they're like, who the hell is this? He's never, ever, ever sung, come cheer up, lads, I'm an alien disguise. There's two in me, and I'm gonna drink. And Riker's like, this is not right. But he's actually really nice. Unlike season 1, where he was not nice, it's that fun, he's not him, but he's, clearly wrong. So it's that fun, jump. And at the end, they work out Picard basically said the test can't work. If they refuse to play, they can't be a test. They do send them back, and you get both Picards, I think, at the same time, and they reveal they're an alien, two aliens, with, really kind of cool makeup, cool costume, and, a belt or something. Because they start as, energy balls, and then become a person and two people. And then they force field them, and there's a great, last 2 minutes where Picard's like, how do you feel now that you're in a cage? And we don't like it, He's like, well, now you know, don't cage people. You don't like it. Oh, we promise not to. Like that, and then they get free, and it's like, haha, that was a shitty day. And yeah, I just really like this one.
Clearly.
It's memorable. It's a weird one. There you go.
We talked about a lot of the same points, but I think you might have got that.
Okay. Yeah, this one's a fun one.
This says Commander wins.
This is a great example of basically a bottle show, but a different bottle. One set, just characters and stuff going on. I
just loved the captain hanging out with Beverly and romancing her a little bit.
Yeah, their date. Yeah. Where he's like, why don't we ever work, Beverly? I don't know. Well, come dance with me, and he's and she's like, you're being too forward. Am I? Yes, you are. Well, fine. Leave now, Beverly. What? Okay. And then he goes off to something else. He's trying to experience stuff.
Everybody's like, Sam wins. Becky's like, Foley for this one.
And people saying, I'm Mr. Pogo. Boo! But yes, I did sing in that one. As that does have the Pogo singing thing. I know. Cool. Happy to win that one then. Captain's Holiday. Me first?
Yes, Olivia Julius of $5. Can we get an episode of Commander just doing an alien voice? And Jeff Jacobs, $2. The Make It Blue Jays say thank you for 50. Hashtag
Oh, yeah,
Make
back in
Jays
50,
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit like, guys. This is one time you can hit like twice for us.
It's true. Wait, else I'm singing that?
All right, so Captain's Holiday.
Okay, comes holiday. Does Picard want to get laid? Well, he's telling people he wants to get laid. That Umar? No, not Umar. It's that Roshikan, I don't know what it's called. That statue thing that people walk around with. That he's seen. This doesn't know what it is. He bought one. He was given one. It's on his table. And Vosh comes and says, "Hey." Well, an alien first says, "Hey, would you like some fun?" He's like, "What? No, no, thank you." And then Vosh comes in and is like, "You know, you're saying you want to have sex right now." He's like, "What? I just want to read a book. I'm here to read a book." He's forced to go on holiday to Riza. And Riza's relaxing, and he actually does quite enjoy the book, but I think it's a little bit crazy. And Vosh is there, and these two really cool alien guys, maybe from the future, with purple heads, kind of squared heads, cool costumes. They come in, they say, "This is not the right time. This is the right time. You know, we need to." It isn't. Yeah, because they come early. It's the start of it. They come early, and they check the computer, and it says there is no Captain Picard who is staying here yet. So they then jump to the future. I guess they can time travel, and then Vosh is there. Vash is there, sorry, and Rom, the not Rom Ferengi is there, and he had a deal with Vash to archaeologize something, and she goes, does it, takes his money, does it anyway, gets Picard's help. They kind of have this kind of fun. It's genuinely quite nice and flirty. She's very strong and fun, and he kind of responds to that because archaeology as well. And then the Ferengi Rom finds them, disruptor, says, "Oh, you need to give me the urn or whatever, or the tech or the statue, whatever they find." And the thing they find is actually the thing that the aliens want. And they're from the future, maybe from the future. We don't know. I think it's still ambiguous at the end, and I think Picard phases it. And without their prize, they leave. But it's kind of unknown as if they were using it to change the timeline or if they were using it to whatever. And they do talk to him. They try and convince him, but he doesn't buy it because it's a bit weird. They don't quite they don't quite commit. And then Vosh at the end is like, "Hey, I'll see you around, Picard." And he's like, "Yes, you will." And he gets to read some books. It's a really fun one. Yeah, there you go. I like it. It's good.
Captain's Holiday. So Captain Picard keeps getting told by his crew that he needs to go on vacation. He says no, and finally gives in and says yes because somebody lies to him and tells him that Loxana Troy's coming on board. He's like, "Oh, it's time for a holiday. Going to Riza." And Riker's like, "Hey, pick me up a Horgon, man." So it's like, all right, cool. So he goes, he starts, doing his thing, reading. We got this weird, creepy aliens that are like, "Is the Oxutat here?" Not yet, because they're from the future.
Or like not.
Right?
Are they?
This is some kind of powerful thing.
Yeah.
So Picard's reading his book, and you got a weird Ferengi creeping around. Is in his light, and "Can you please move?" And well, I think what happens first is the ladies come and hit on him, and he's like wondering why, and because he's got his Horgon out. "Well, you're seeking Jamaharan." "No, I'm not. What? This is for a friend." "Oh, Riker, you bastard!" And he covers it up with a bath towel, and then the book gets sprayed with some water, and he wipes it off, which would piss me off because I hate when my books get wet. Anyway, and then the Ferengi comes in, stands in his light, and he's like, "Can you please move? I know you are with the woman, the human woman." And because he had ran into Vosh before, and the last half of the episode's not really super memorable for me. They Oxutat shit. There we go. I don't remember the ending. I don't remember exactly what happens.
The way I introed this one was saying, "Does Picard get laid?" Well, he says he does by the statue. So I started this one. Yeah, I remembered the ending, but you remembered the names. So we'll see what people think then. And also, it was the Rom actor. It was Max. Rom, not really? Rom. Mm-hmm. Very similar makeup as well. Weirdly similar. And he's not the same. He's not the same, obviously, but he's pretty close. So yeah, what do you guys think? Details or a bit more? Ironically,
Enterprise E says Commander wins this one.
Well, ironically, we changed roles. You gave the specifics, I gave the generals. As you just said last time, there's exactly the opposite for that for some reason. Yeah, I don't even know who's gonna win that one.
Bosch looked good in the bathing suit. Yes, yes, he did.
And did Vosh and Picard sleep together in the cave or not?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did.
Okay. Yeah.
Supercube says I think it's a draw. Becky says it's a tie for this one.
Okay.
See, we complement each other on this
Yeah.
one.
Okay. I can buy that. Yeah.
Ozzy says Foley wins. I think the captain got this one, but very close, says Avenue Pad. So there you go. Tie.
Okay.
I would say tie.
Nice. I think well deserved.
Cool.
Uh.
Oh, dear God. Fuck it.
You're first. Wait.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yep. Tin Man. So there's this weird egg-shaped thing around a sun in the Romulan system, I believe, which is supposed to have incredible power. And a Betazoid comes on the Enterprise, who was Tam, I think is his name. Can't stand the actor or the character. Anyway, he comes on board, and he was born with the telepathic ability just switched on, like he hears everything. So he's kind of like an outcast from the Beta Zeds, but he is here on this mission to go see Tin Man, which is this egg-shaped ship thing with incredible power. Apparently, the Romulans are vying for its capture or whatever. Turns out the Tam and Data go over to the ship, and the plan was to investigate it and come back. And Tam's like, "I'm not leaving. This is where I belong." And he basically becomes like a parasite in Tin Man, I guess. And Tin Man does a swirl thing and like sends the ships like spiraling away. Again, I don't quite remember the ending of this one or how it gets resolved. I know the guy stays with Tin Man, but it's really not a super great episode. Even though a lot of people give it a lot of, praise, it's just not for me. But anyway, that's kind of what I remember about it. So there you go.
All right, this one has the chair that it's like a blow up chair at the end that does not hold up. I even remember not holding up in SD, but the CGI of I will remember its name by the end because I have an Eagle Moss of it. This creature, it's a space creature. There's this dude who's in many things. He's the villain in Buffy, one of the ancient ones. He not Gojo, something like that. Gamgee. Is that his name? Gamgee? Something like that? The ship. Anyway, so they this guy comes aboard. He says, we need to go find this thing. It's special, it's rare, whatever. Maybe it's out a signal, psychic signal, maybe. Something is drawing them there. So they go to it, and it's this rather cool design, especially a cone. It's like a cone that falls from a tree. I think it's a psychic link with it. It's a story with Data again. Gets lots of stories because he's trying to relay what life is and such to him. I don't remember the middle because it's all just about getting to I'm going to say Gumtree, whatever his name is, and they get to it, and it's basically it's like I guess the Farpoint alien like interior again, and there's this chair, and then the Romulans show up. Oh my god! And then he merges. He finally comes home. I think he says maybe like he's the guy. He's like had a voice in his brain for years, and he can't get him out of his head. And he finally sits down. And he feels at peace, and said, "You must leave, Data." Why is that, sir? Because I'm now connected. I feel at peace, and I'm going to do something to help you guys because the Romulans doing something mean to they're shooting the Enterprise D maybe or damaging it or something. And then it does a cool spin and like kind of a destruction effect, but not really. And it forces the other two ships out of the way, and they go well into Ferrish's space. They're like, wow, with his last gift, he helped us out to make us free. And there's weird acting by the guy I remember on the ship. He's like talking to the ship. He's like, I'm home now, and can you hear me, Gumtree, whatever it's called? And you're like, why are you acting weird? And yeah, it's a space creature alien ship episode that you don't know it's a ship straight away. You maybe think it's something else.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a very sci-fi concept. But I don't remember the middle, I guess. Gom 2. I was close. I was really close. I said
I just
Gumtree.
called it Tin Man throughout mine, so
Oh
there
yeah,
you go.
Tin Man. Oh, it's
I
Tin
hate
Man. Yeah.
I
I
hate
should
this episode.
I should get a point though for Gumtree Gum2. That's really close. How you just remembered it.
There's Sam wins for sound effects.
Thank you.
D-Man's Commander wins this one.
So what did you say then?
Samton, pretty much everything you said, except he's a Beta Z and he was born with his telepathic abilities switched on, so he's heard voices his whole life. Um,
Okay.
I even said the spinny thing where this launches ships out. And belonging with the thing, and I feel at home here, and I'm not going back with you, Mr. Data.
Yeah.
But apparently you won because they're all assholes. So next. I'm just kidding.
Yay.
Becky says tie again, so I appreciate Becky's.
Hollow Pursuits. Me first.
Yeah, yes. You go first.
This is the Barclay kisses Deanna creepily on the holodeck. He makes the entire crew in his fencing simulation thing. He fences with Riker and Geordi and someone else, can't remember who. And there's this great bit where he's parrying, and as Reg Barclay, played by Joel Trites, I think is his name, and it's a great scene in the holodeck where he's parrying all three, and then he goes like, and they go, rah! That's quite fun. He's like, you bested us, Mr. Barclay. Oh, I did. Yes, I did best you, all of you. And he uses it as basically he can't deal with the crew. He's a talented officer. He's on the ship, but people can't deal with him properly. And while Joy likes him, he doesn't fit in. He doesn't quite make all the right calls, and he blows off steam by going to the holodeck. And he's much more himself. He's much more relaxed. Too relaxed. Like I say, he's being at one point, I am the goddess of sweet pursuits and love. Would you like me to pleasure you or something? Troy says, and Troy says, muzzle it. That's a fun line. And Riker's loving it, and then until he sees Riker Riker bested by Barclay, and Troy's in a fun outfit, he's a holodection, or at least start of a holodection here. I don't know if he's necessarily said that, but he's dealing too much in this hollow stuff. But it's his way of dealing, but it's so inappropriate, and but he is very clever. He does solve something in the outside world as well. Don't remember what. It's not that one it's not the other one yet, but it's the first one. And it's just a fun set of stuff. And everyone's trying. I think Riker at one point says he shouldn't be on the ship, but Geordi keeps trying to get him trying to keep him. But I think he does help him solve at the end, and they decide to keep him. But it's kind of close. Talented, but a bit weird. Yeah.
So Murdoch from the A-Team shows up, and Geordi can't stand him, and he goes to the captain and says, I can't stand this new guy. He's kind of irritating and whatever. And Picard's like, well, you know what? Too bad. It's your job. Deal with it. And then Picard actually accidentally calls him broccoli as well. Something going on with the ship. I can't remember exactly what, but there's a problem, and they need Reg's help to. Reginald Barclay needs Reg's help to fix it. They can never find him. He's always in the holodeck. He's got a hollow addiction, and it's a big problem. Plus, he's really irritating, and Geordi has to really take it upon himself to actually work with the guy and not just brush him off or reassign him, because it's kind of he's been passed around kind of thing. And Picard's like, no, it's your job. Make him part of the team. Anyway, they end up going on the holodeck at one point to find him, and you got a really short Riker who's like a little asshole. Wesley's just a little shit-eating pie. Anyway, they Riker wants to end the program right there, and Troy's like, no, it's not good. It's not good for his mental well-being. You got to okay. So they wander a little bit further, and they find Troy as like the goddess, whatever. I forget exactly what she says, but Troy is not impressed. And Riker's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. This is all good.
I kind of like you in flowing green,
yeah,
bit, and you can tell no bra. I mean, flowing, just
yeah, that's fine.
In their totally real forest.
And then we find Barclay with Council or Dr. Crusher, which she looks fantastic in the holodeck, by the way. Anywho, so he basically, they get him out of there. He actually solves the problem that they have in engineering. Something that can't be scanned, that they eventually use his technique or method, whatever, or idea, and figure it out. And then it ends really well. He walks on the bridge and says, "Sorry guys, it's been great serving with you, but I have to leave. I won't be seeing any of you again." And then he's like, "Computer end program," and it was just a holodeck simulation. He was saying goodbye to his holodeck family. And then he's like, "Computer erase all programs except program number 9," or I think it was number 9. And then he walks out of the holodeck. So it's the end of the episode. I don't remember the main thing that was going around with the ship wasn't the main thing. It was his holo addiction.
Yeah.
As and just dealing with this new character. So actually, that's about all I remember. So.
Yeah, you got the end a lot better. I got the middle better, but you got the end a lot better though. Wow. Yeah.
Well, let's see who wins.
There was fencing stuff you forgot about, but that was good. Yeah. I mean, a bit of a tangent, but I think he's always good as Barclay. Like, weirdly, he's always good, but I love him in Voyager. I love the way they used his character in that show. He's less Barclay, more like Barclay helping. This is a weird one.
Ozzy says Captain Foley. Enterprise D says Tide. Supercube says Foley. Robert Green Cap wins. Going with Foley on this one.
Yeah, I think you got some better little details in this one. Again, weird the reverse.
Again, this one I saw probably like a month ago, so it's kind of fresh.
I haven't seen it probably since 2010s.
Oh, okay, there you
go. Yeah, I think you've got it just.
Demon's Brendan. Okay, cool. I won that one. Woo. All my little bribes to the community have paid off.
The most toys.
Toys. And I go first.
Okay.
This is a great episode. They start off by the Enterprise is getting something from Kivo Faj, whatever his name is, ship, which is right before they launch. They knock out Data. You see this? They knock him out, and then they scan him, and they're getting all the however much material is in his body kind of thing. But from the Enterprise's point of view, they see the shuttle launch, hear Data giving the regular routine whatever, and then the shuttle explodes. So they think Data's dead, and he takes off with Data. And he's a collector. He collects a lot of things like baseball card with a scent of bubble gum and quite a few other interesting little things. But he wanted Data for his collection, and he's got this lady helping him, and his whole crew is kind of like forced to help him, essentially. But anyway, turns out Data refuses to put on the clothes. He refuses to cooperate, and finally the guy gets frustrated and starts threatening the lady, to which he told Data to sit down in the chair. Data refused, and then points the phaser at her, or the really painful disruptor. That's the most painful thing in the world. Points it at her, and Data ends up sitting in the chair. He invites a friend of his over. He comes over, and he's like, "Oh, I love your new statue." It's not a statue, it's an android. Speak, android, speak. And Data wouldn't speak to him, and he kind of threatens Data afterwards. But the other guy's really funny. He's like, "Oh, it's always so fun to come over here, you and your toys." Oh, anyway, that's funny. Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, they're trying to figure out what happened in the explosion, and Geordi's like, it was a little too routine, and they're going through. They find out essentially that Data didn't get destroyed, so they go hunting for Fajo, whatever, because they get to the planet with the water supply problem. They put the chemicals in the water. They scan the water, say it's a trace. It's a weird amount. It's nothing that could have occurred naturally. It was obviously contrived. Anyway, back on the Fajo ship or whatever, Data is